OK, time to focus on some interesting revelations from England's interim head coach Lee Carsley yesterday that have attracted a good bit of attention across the newspapers this morning. It pricked my attention when I saw him talking about it live yesterday. Thomas Tuchel is coming in as the new England head coach. We know that. He starts on the 1st of January. We know that.
Yeah.
Has he spoken to the incumbent?
I haven't spoken at all.
Why would you bother?
Well, look, there's two schools of thought here. You can say on one hand, perhaps he starts on January the 1st and maybe just wants it to be a completely clean slate, line in the sand. I start my job now. Now is when I focus on England. The other one...
Not being paid for November.
Yeah, right. The other school of thought, and this is how I would feel, is, surely you want a sort of seamless transition, a seamless handover between the two. Plus, Chris, they're going to have to continue working together. Lee Carsley's going back to the under-21s.
Feeding.
He's not just riding off into the sunset. They're going to have to continue talking once he comes into the job. He's going to be picking his brains. Who are the best young up-and-coming players? Who should I be looking at to perhaps promote to the senior squad? So you'd expected a bit more contact than just a text message saying congrats on getting the job and a reply saying thanks very much, see you in January, which sounds like what it's been. And perhaps the biggest revelation from this press conference with Lee Carsley yesterday as well is that night that he lost that infamous defeat to Greece at Wembley, when the following morning we were saying, oh, has Lee Carsley now perhaps lost his chance of having the top job? Well, 2 days before that game against Greece, on the 8th of October, he'd already signed his contract. The FA have now revealed that. So Lee Carsley said he was unaware after that Greece game that had even happened. So it all seems a little bit strange. Perhaps it'll all come out in the wash. But the reaction in some of the papers to this, the Daily Mail's headline is England farce. And then there's a trio of headlines where you have to sort of a bit of artistic license involved here. The Metro goes with the silent touch, the star, the invisible touch, and mirror out of touch. Obviously, taking slight liberties with the surname Tuchel.
Yeah.
But I think that is to be expected. But yeah, Lee Carsley did speak yesterday. This is a reminder of what he had to say in his news conference when questioned how much contact he'd had with the man coming into the top job.
First of all, he hasn't had any influence on the squad selection. I've spoken to him by text, but it's literally congratulations. I think he's highly respectful of the job that not only myself but the staff are doing. So we've been left to it like we always have. I still see this as a massive privilege and the trust that the FA have shown in myself and the rest of the staff. The 3 camps that we've got. This is the final 2 games.
The real sort of farce and bizarre element to this is the fact that Tuchel's not starting already. The fact is that he could have used these 2 games, this Nations League game, just to see the characters of the players around the hotel. Obviously, he knows a lot of them and he can scout them. He's got video and all that. And obviously knows Kane from Bayern Munich and, any Chelsea contingent. But he really should be there rather than starting on January the 1st.
It does seem a little bit strange, as we've touched on, that Thomas Tuchel is not going to be there, not involved, not had any of that. So we focused on that. This is the final squad that Lee Carsley will pick in this interim care. It's his 3rd squad. And he's shown a lot of loyalty to players that he already knows from before, players that have come through him, as you mentioned, in his role as the under-21s coach.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, obviously, that he's getting these youngsters in now and he has a chance to because there's a number of notable omissions. So the likes of John Stones, Harry Maguire, senior experienced players like that, unavailable, injured at the moment. That's why the likes of Taylor Harwood-Bellis gets a call-up. Kobbie Mainoo injured as well. Lewis Hall was so impressive, I thought, last weekend in that victory at St James's Park against Arsenal. So was Tino Livramento at the other fullback, but Lewis Hall gets a call-up. Curtis Jones comes into the squad as well. Perhaps the surprise omission is that Morgan Rogers doesn't get a call-up.
He's been fabulous,
He's been fabulous. I think you watch Aston Villa play and he's a player who's got a real X-factor about him. Seems to be able to do things that other players don't. Plays with no fear. But for those players that did get call-up, as you said, Taylor Harwood-Bellis won the under-21s championship with Lee Carsley in 2023. Curtis Jones was part of that squad as well. So they both get called up. And as regarding the omission of Morgan Rogers, who, as you said, has had such an impressive start to life at Aston Villa, Lee Carsley explained just why he wasn't quite ready for a call-up.
Morgan's a player that I'm really aware of, a really important player to the under-21s. I think sometimes and we've had this before in terms of the last campaign, that sometimes the competition in front, dictates how quickly you move through the pathway. Morgan's up against some very strong players. I've no doubt that Morgan will get there. But at this time, he's a crucial, important player to the under-21s.